Jujustu Kaisen Season 2 and what to expect. Hello, my name is Northstar and I cover anime, gaming, and comic related material. If you enjoy these type of discussions and you manage to make it to the end of this video, please consider subscribing to keep up with more content. Now the introductions are out of the way, let's get into the video. If you're here watching this right now, then I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Jujustu Kaisen the anime and have already watched Season 1. But on the off chance that you haven't seen the anime yet and you clicked out of curiosity, warning, there will be Season 1 spoilers. Now, what can we expect from Season 2 of JJK? Well, first let's do a quick comparison of Season 1 to the manga and its chapters to gauge what we have to look forward to. Season 1 of JJK covers the manga chapters 1 through 63, specifically these three arcs. The Fearsome Womb arc, where we meet Yuji for the first time as he devours Sukuna's finger and becomes the vessel for the King of Curses himself under the watch of Gojo. The Versus Mahito arc, where Yuji and Nanami investigate the cursed killings of Mahito. The Goodwill Kyoto event arc, where Kyoto and Tokyo sorcerers face off against one another in an annual competition to test performance. And finally, the Death Painting arc. With 63 chapters roughly being covered in 24 episodes, and with Season 2 being confirmed to have at least 20 episodes, potentially more, we can expect roughly the same amount of coverage. Now, the next few chapters after chapter 63 cover Gojo's past, where we see Gojo and Geto during their time as third years at Jujustu High. We learn more about Gojo's abilities, Geto's abilities, their friendship dynamic, and witness the downfall of their friendship after a strenuous mission. We also meet Megumi's father, Toji Fukushiro, and learn more about him, why he left the Zenin clan, and his abilities. My estimate is that Gojo's past will roughly take around 3 to 5 episodes to finish. I don't really see them spending too much time here, simply because of what we have lying ahead. And that is the Shibuya arc. For all anime only watchers, I'm going to warn you, this will be the hardest arc to watch. Not because it's bad, but because of everything that transpires. It is not a joke when I say that this arc is brutal. I can confidently say that your favorite character more than likely will not be leaving this arc the same. Now to sum it up for you guys, the Shibuya arc is basically Geto enacting his plan to seal Gojo within inside Prison Realm. If you're unfamiliar with Prison Realm, it is briefly mentioned within Season 1 during Geto and Jogo's conversation within the cafe, but it is explained in greater detail during the Shibuya arc. So I am going to be discussing Shibuya arc spoilers, so this is a warning to all anime only fans. If you do not wish to be spoiled, I'll put a timestamp up on the screen where you can pull back up on the video after we're done discussing the Shibuya arc, but for anybody else who wishes to stay, here we go. So the Shibuya arc starts at chapter 83 in the manga, but technically I like to say it starts at chapter 79. That's where we learn more about the mole within Jujustu High and what's been going on with that plotline. We basically learn that there's been two moles, one on a higher level above the principal, and then one on a lower level who's been feeding information to the higher level mole. The group is basically able to deduce that the mole has to come from Kyoto because everyone in Tokyo is present at the meetup. And there's only one person who fits the bill, that being Mekamaru. It's explained that it isn't because he was suspicious or that he did anything to actually trigger anyone to believe that he was the mole, but simply due to process of elimination. You see, because of his ability to manipulate puppets and his heavenly restriction, allowing him to reach all over the nation, he'd be the perfect candidate to gather information on people without having to be in the room. Their suspicions are confirmed after they realize that Mekamaru is not in his reported location, but actually somewhere completely different. Now this is where things get interesting. Personally, I really enjoy this twist because it honestly makes sense. In Season 1, we learned that Mekamaru wants nothing more than to be in his own body, free of his restrictions, so that he could live his life with his friends, specifically Miwa. And who do we know with the ability to manipulate the body however he wants? That's right, Mahito. Now we aren't told the specifics of how Mekamaru came in contact with these two, but we do know he's been in league with them for a while. We also learned that the nature of this relationship is purely transactional and that Mekamaru isn't actually on the side of their cause, he only looks to get his body restored by Mahito. Now you're probably wondering, how could he be for certain that they will hold up their end of the deal? I mean, they're villains after all. Well, He has them under a pact vow, which makes them obligated to complete their end of the contract no matter what, or they will suffer consequences. Those consequences usually meaning death. Now, when Mechamaru's body is restored, that's when things really start to pick up. You see, without the heavenly vow to protect him and his friends, they can now act against him, and since he knows their plans, they want to kill him. He already knows this, he knows what comes next, so he's already prepared to fight. And that's where we get Mechamaru versus Mahito. What I love about this fight is we get to see how much Mechamaru has prepped for this moment. He knew what came next and he was ready. We also get to see him go all out, unleashing his ultimate weapon, Ultimate Mechamaru. Basically a huge mech-style puppet which he controls from within the head and is powered off of 17 years of cursed energy which he has been building up over time. Those 17 years basically being the time he spent stationary within that room, all the while working on Ultimate Mechamaru and storing up the cursed energy necessary to power it. You see, Mechamaru's plan was never to defeat these two in a straight one-on-two battle or even a one-on-one battle. He was simply trying to stall until he was able to get a signal out to Gojo, who would then be able to come to his aid and help him. But things don't go as planned as Geto puts up a veil around the battlefield, which has the side effect of preventing signals from reaching outside of the said veil. Now backed into the corner with no other options, he is forced to fight. Now I'm not going to spoil the outcome of this fight, but I will tell you that this will set the tone for the Shibuya arc going forward. I honestly think you guys should go pick this up and read it if you haven't. It's honestly a great fight. And if you want to see me cover the entirety of the Shibuya arc in a full detailed video, I will. Just let me know in the comments below. Now honestly, I'm expecting majority of season 2 to be based around the Shibuya arc. It's roughly around 58 chapters if I'm not mistaken. It's a really big beefy one, and it's a lot of important stuff that goes on within this arc, including a really big fight between Gojo, Jogo, Hanami, and Chozo. And one thing I will say about this season is Gojo fans are going to be eating really good. I'm saying we're going to get like a lot of Gojo like back to back to back from episode 1 all the way up until like the early beginning of Shibuya arc. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, season 2 is confirmed to have at least 20 episodes. We're probably going to get 24 just like season 1. If we're lucky, we may get 26. But I can see Gojo's Pass / the Hidden Inventory arc taking up about 3 episodes, maybe 4 if they really want to push it and extend it out. But I think we're going to cap off at 3 if I'm being honest. And then from there, we're going to transition into the Shibuya arc, which is, like I said, 58 chapters. So that's probably going to take up, I really want to say 15, but they probably could squeeze it in about like 12, maybe 13. And then from there, we may end up getting into the extermination arc, which I'll talk about right now. Now, before I start talking about this arc specifically, I do want to let you know again that this has spoilers because this arc is a direct result of what happens in Shibuya arc. So if you do not wish to be spoiled about Shibuya or what happens, then this is probably the end of the video for you. But thank you for watching. If you do choose to stick around, then thank you. Let's talk about it. So, the extermination arc is a direct result of what happens in the Shibuya arc, and for those who do not know, I'm going to spoil 3, 2, 1. Gojo is sealed, the Jujutsu sorcerers lose, and they lose really bad. Now, with Gojo being gone, like they said in the manga, the power dynamic of the world, it's been completely shifted, and without Gojo's protection, Yuji is basically back to resentencing. If you remember in season 1, he was sentenced to death for being the vessel of Sukuna, but Gojo was able to convince the board that, hey, we could use him, he can take these fingers, he's remarkably well at being the vessel, he's able to suppress Sukuna, so we could keep him, collect all the fingers, kill him, and that way we could get rid of Sukuna once and for all. But without Gojo to keep them in check and keep them from, trying to assassinate Yuji, they try to kill him anyway. So they order Yuta. If you don't know who Yuta is, or you don't remember, he is what the Jujustu Kaisen movie focuses on. He is another student of Gojo, the person who has a curse on him, or rather is cursed by an ex-girlfriend, so to say, or a childhood friend, Rika. Now this is where I believe season 2 will end, with the extermination arc, because at the end, surprise, surprise, Yuji gets killed. me and my friend were actually discussing this, that they may leave it off on a cliffhanger with Yuji being killed and then having everybody wait in suspense for season 3 where we figure out what happens next, But overall, this is my prediction for what we could be expecting in season 2. Obviously, they can choose to squeeze in some extra stuff or leave certain things out. Ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure this is the roadmap they're going to be following. Now, if there's anything you want to discuss in the comments below about the video or anything about the manga in general, please do so. Hit me up. I will reply. Just be sure to be courteous. If you bring up any spoilers that hasn't been mentioned yet, make sure you put spoiler tags in the comments, just so you don't mess it up for anybody else who doesn't want to see anything from the manga yet, But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I want to thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing. I upload videos like this probably 2 to 3 times a week. I'm going to try to make it a habit to, upload very consistently so you guys constantly have something to look forward to. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please do leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you. I will check them out, and we can pick whatever seems the most interesting and go from there. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Again, thank you for watching. It's been North Star, and I'll see you next time.